2 minutes. 2 minutes to go. All right, welcome everyone to RPG Frequencies. This is Gwydion, and today I'm going to be playing a game called Tollund or Tollund, I'm not sure the pronunciation, by Exeunt Press. I've played a couple of other, or I guess one other game by Exeunt Press called um, Caveat Emptor, and I'm using playingcards.io. I put some of the assets into playingcards.io to make it easier to stream to you. And there's a really nice book that you can buy for Tollund. And the author was kind enough to send me a copy of the book for free since I streamed and was doing a little bit of showing off the Caveat Emptor game. They were kind enough to send that to me. And I'm really glad they did because this game looks really interesting. It's a dark game, a solo game. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to pull up the PDF on stream and kind of read through a little bit of the beginning. Let me make sure I have my stream set up right. Yep, I do. So let's just kind of flip through a little bit. So it's a solo journaling game. I really love the art. And see, again, Exeunt Press. I think that's how you pronounce that. Another cool image. It does have a content warning. So anybody watching this video, I'll read through this briefly. Tollun explores mature themes inspired by Iron Age history involving grief, death, starvation, loss, animal violence, and ritual human sacrifice. While these elements are integral to the narrative of the game, they may evoke strong emotions while playing and are not for everyone. It is not a happy game, but it is supposed to be fun. Players are encouraged to take breaks as needed and feel free to step away from the game. And it is solo, so there is a reference here if you're struggling with feelings of loneliness or isolation to the SAM HSA's national helpline for a free confidential referral. So please, if this sounds like it's not your game, go find another video that might be more suited to what you enjoy. But I do like the dark horror and solo games, so I'm going to keep going. All right, let me read this. You never know how much you really believe anything until its truth or falsehood becomes a matter of life and death to you. It is easy to say you believe a rope to be strong and sound as long as you are merely using it to cord a box. But suppose you had to hang by that rope over a precipice. Wouldn't you then first discover how much you really trusted it? C.S. Lewis, A Grief Observed, 1961. All right, welcome to Tollund. And I'll read through this, just to give you the background. But I first listened to Tollund Man by the and Goats when the Jordan Lake Sessions Volume 1 and 2 were released in 2020. Somehow I'd missed it on the earlier Sweden album from 1995. The Tollund man of the song is an actual person, albeit one that died thousands of years ago in the Iron Age. John Darnielle's lyrics for the song are just 51 words, but imagine the Tollund man's last days, an approaching council, ceremonial shoes, final meal of wild grains, and saying goodbye. For such a short song, it's quite powerful. The mysteries surrounding bog bodies like the Tollund man are intriguing. Without written records, we can only guess at why these people were killed and their bodies dumped in the marsh. Why were most of them found from the Iron Age? Were they executed criminals or victims of crime? Were they unwilling human sacrifices to appease an angry god? Or were they willing offerings? We may never know the answers, but Tollun is a way to explore what might have been. My goal was to put the player in an extraordinarily tough position, agree to be sacrificed or refused. It's a journaling game, but one in which each decision pushes the scales one direction or the other. The final result is an accumulation of many tiny choices over time rather than a singular decision. The choice is yours. Hi, Reverend Master. Thanks for popping in. About to play Tollund, a solo journaling game. Love the art. All right, we'll read a little bit more here. The Tollund man. In May 1950, two peat cutters discovered a corpse in the, I won't pronounce that word, but peat bog near Tollund, Denmark. At first mistaken for a recent murder victim, the corpse was revealed to be an Iron Age man who died thousands of years earlier, somewhere between 405 and 380 BCE. The Tollund man, as he became known, was preserved by the anaerobic conditions in the bog. Over 2,300 years after his death, his sheepskin cap was still fastened under his chin with a hide strap, covering short cropped hair, a smooth hide belt still around the waist. The man's features, closed eyes, and day-old stubble all intact. Cause of death was hanging, most likely in late winter or early spring. The rope still tied around his neck, leaving furrows in the skin. His last meal was a porridge of barley, flax, wild seas, and fish, eaten half a day or so before his death. We will never know why the Tollund man had to die, whether execution, murder, or ritual killing. Many modern scholars generally agree, however, that human sacrifice is a possible explanation. Reverend Master Beard Skovdahl, probably. Although it's Bjaeld Skovdahl, that's all, or Skovdahl. I'm going to leave it at that. And I'll do a Google search later. Nice. All right, this is kind of how I started the stream here, but the crops have failed again. Your people are starving. Sacrifice is required. An offering must be made. Runes have been cast. The council has chosen you. Gotcha, Reverend Master. All right, so here's what you need to play. So I'll probably go about an hour, and I might cut it off if it goes longer than that. You have hopefully a relatively quiet place. I have a little Google, or I should say a Word document to take some notes with. I'm going to be using playingcards.io. I have tokens. I've got the card set up, a printed sheet, and we're going to use just a six-sided die that I put into playingcards.io, and I've got tokens to track the day. Don't need to go through this. The point here is it's not supposed to be historically accurate. There's not a whole lot of records for this time. And see, game overview. This kind of goes through, and we'll touch on this when we need to, but it goes through the beginning of the game. You'll be giving 4 days, and you're going to be drawing cards morning, midday, and night. And I don't think you draw cards at the end of the day, but we'll go through this. Initial setup, I've done all this, so we're going to skip down to the bottom here and choose your name. And I think there's actually, so your name and role. It does say that the role provides a key item that you will carry with you. These 2 steps do not mechanically impact gameplay, but give you some background. Let's go into, I'm going to flip forward for a minute, and we're going to roll on this. And if I can go back to my table, we'll roll 2d6. So let's roll 1. So we got a 2 and a 1. 21 is Eric. And I don't know what the what that means in between. I'm going to record this on my Google or my Word document, and I'm just going to put in Eric ruler. Don't know what that means yet, or if it has any significance. And then we will come back and we will open that again, and let's find the roll. And I think, yeah, it's a 1d6. So we're going to roll for our roll. Here, that's a 2. And so that means 2 is an artisan. You're a blend of carpenter and metal worker, able to make both practical tools and intricate works of art. The ornate amulet you wear around your neck is proof of your skill. Crafted of metal and bone, strikingly beautiful. Perhaps it will bring you good luck. So I'm an artisan. I'm not showing my Word document, but I'm just going to type in artisan. And if we need to come back to this while I'm making notes, maybe I'll share it on the screen later. All right, we're going to come back up here. So we did name and roll. We got the fake tokens already there. And this just goes into the game. I think I'll come back to this, and hopefully it'll be pretty simple to play. So I think we can get started with the events of the day. So let me see if I need this open or if I can just use, yeah, I am going to keep that up for now. So let's read this. A morning phase. You wake at the first light of dawn. The village stirs with anticipation and watches your every move. They are desperate and starving, but also know what is asked of you. At this start of morning, draw a card from the day's deck. Resolve the event associated with the card, making any decisions and moving tokens as required. All right. So we're going to go back here. I'm going to click Start the Game, which will distribute the cards to the different decks. I probably should have put a discard deck that I can remember to do later. But for now, let's just flip over the first card, which is a Jack clubs. We don't want kings, by the way. Kings are not good for us. So we're going to put this up, and we are going to go down to, see, that's a Jack of clubs. So I'm going to I have a little bookmark here to make this easier, and we will go down to clubs. So I will read this for you, although you can see it on the screen, and it's this section right here. So Jack of clubs, secret resistance. 2 villagers visit you. They nervously explain that they are organizing a coup against the council. It is mismanagement and greed, they say, that has caused the lack of food, not the gods. It is the council who must die, not you. As they leave, they say they will be back to explain more. Who are the 2 villagers, and do you know them? How many people are part of this insurrection? How are they organizing their movement? What do you do with this knowledge? So again, this is a journaling game, so I am going to copy this, and I'm going to kind of make some notes and maybe answer these questions on my sheet, and I'll just talk through them on stream. I'm not great at this aspect, so it might be a little disjointed, but I'll do what I can. And I am going to, yeah, just kind of, for now, I think I'm just going to answer these questions, and we'll see how it goes. So who are the 2 villagers, and do you know them? I'm going to say it's Sven and Helga. I'm going to say it's a man and wife. And I know them only just casually in the village. I think they're fishermen in the village, and it seems odd to me that they would come to me, but I'll just say, yeah, fishermen in the village. And how many people are part of this insurrection? I don't know. For that, I think what I'll do, let's just roll a d6 and 4. So we're going to say it's a relatively small at the moment. So we're going to say 4 people are part of the insurrection. 4 people. How are they organizing their movement? I think what I'm going to do for this, because I don't really know, I don't have a good idea to come up with something, but I think what I'll do is I'm going to open I can get it open, which I hope I did this right. And I'm going to close this down. I'm going to hide this for a second and open up random realities. This is from Caesar Capital, and there's a dice roller in there. I'm just going to kind of scan. I'm going to roll the dice here, and it'll get me to a random page. And I'm just going to look at this. I can look at general section, world, quest, location. But so how are they organizing their movement? I'm going to see if any of these speak to me. Exploration, general, world, Knockwind, mood, uncharted. You know what? That sounds interesting, even though it might not, be the intention. I'm going to say they're organizing around the phases of the moon or something to do with the moon. So let me turn that off and I'll turn this back on. Let me hide that. And I'm just going to type in my journal here, organizing their movement based loosely upon the phases of the moon. I'm not sure why or how exactly what that will do. What do I do with this knowledge? For now, I'm going to say I, contemplate and keep to myself. Yeah, I'm just going to keep that to myself for now. All right. So now I do have to go back though, and let's open the journal, and I have to move 2 fate tokens to Munin or Hugin. I think that's how you pronounce it. So Munin is acceptance. That means I'm accepting my fate. Hugin means reject. And I don't think you can split them up. I believe I read that you just have to move them both in one. So I could, even though I'm keeping this to myself and I'm contemplating, it kind of feels like it's making me question myself. So for now, I think what I'll do is I'm going to move to Hugin, and you can kind of see these, but you know what? I'm going to split these apart to make it a little more obvious that there's 5 here, and that right now more on this section Hugin over. So right now my weight is going towards rejection. So let me go back and look at the resolving, let's see, the day phases. All right, so I think you resolved the daily events. So I've gone through the first phase of the day, and now I'm in the midday phase. So I think what I should do then is I'm at the midday phase. I'm still on phase 1, so I'm going to move the blue token to the midday phase. All right. The sun reaches its highest point, a reminder of time passing. You can hear the activities of daily life in the village around you and wonder how best to use your remaining time. After completing the morning phase, which I've done, draw a card for midday. So it's on the same day. So I'm still on day 1. So what I'm going to do with this card down here, I think I might make a deck in the future and put it down here. But I'm going to turn that over and put it at the bottom here. So now my next, good, I'm worried about those kings. All right, 9 of diamonds. So let's see what the diamond deck gives us. Go to my bookmarks over here. Here's my 9 of diamonds. Vision of unity. Interesting, because this is, I think they're all daily events. Oh, okay. During the night, you believed you received a vision. In it, all of your village was linked together with long ropes. Some pulled against them, trying to escape. Others pulled them in closer. Everyone was bound together and the ropes were unbreakable. How do you interpret this dream? Who were the people, and did you recognize any of them? Were you or members of the council in the dream? Do you tell others about this vision or keep it to yourself? So I'm going to copy that. Maybe I'll copy it all. And I'm kind of keeping my journal again. So I'm going to say day 1. I'm going to just say morning. I know you don't see this, but I'm going to kind of just trying to organize my thoughts here. I'm going to say midday. We're going to pop that in. So making a few notes here. So the ropes one. So here we go. So here are the questions that I need to answer. And I think ultimately, again, it's just part of the story, because you're either going to choose to succumb to the will of the council, or you're going to decide that you do not agree. So how do I interpret the dream? So I think the questions, if I go back to this again, go back to this. It's interesting. I think I interpret, and I'm going to make some notes here and type while I'm talking, but I interpret this to be um, more symbolic, and the ropes binding everyone together. And the point being, it's unshakable. They all are looking for a sacrifice, and I'm looking at this to basically mean they all agree that I need to be sacrificed. Who are the people, and did you recognize any of them? I'm going to say I'm going to say Sven and Helga were missing, but I recognized um, my my father and several other village members. I'm going to say both me and the council were not in the vision, not in the vision. You tell others about this vision or keep to yourself. I think right now I'm going to play this as being very isolated, and I'm going to say that I am keeping the vision to myself. I don't want to share with anyone else. I'm kind of taking this as a very introspective journey, so I am going to keep that to myself. All right. So we're going to go back to our daily events, go back to the phases. Oh, shoot. I almost forgot. So we do need to finish that. That was a 9 of diamonds. And given that was a 9 of diamonds, it did say move one fate token to Moonin or Hugin. So I'm going to move one fate token back to Munin. I'm going to resign to my fate a bit more that there is unification. Yes, there's a small uprising, small movement, but in general, that the whole village is believing that I need to suck it up and do the best for the village. So now we're coming to the night phase. Another day comes to an end as the sun dips below the horizon. The sounds of people fall silent and the sounds of nature take over. A night of restless sleep awaits you. So now I'll be drawing a card for. So I'm still on day one, so I'm going to move this down here, flip it over, kind of move that together. 4 diamonds. I don't know if there's any significance and if there's different. Some games like this, diamonds, clubs, hearts, spades are all different, but in terms of kind of what type of card you get. So this one is marked with runes. The council has one of the mystics paint runes all over your body. I'm envisioning like it's nighttime, the sun's setting. The council comes up to me and paints runes all over my body. Each one is imbued with a specific meaning and will prepare you for your eventual fate in the bog. They explain each one as they paint it. So I'm going to copy and paste this into my day one journal. And this is going to be, put it up here. I need to, yeah, I'm going to say night. And I won't release this anywhere. I'm just doing this to kind of keep my thoughts organized and make it a little bit easier on myself. I don't know if I have to summarize this at the end or if it just ends. Some games, I know you kind of use all of this information and you kind of end up telling the story at the end. All right, organizing my comments here, the questions, so I can easily rip through each one. And I'm taking this a little bit quicker because I don't want to be wasting a lot of time on stream. But so here we go again. Okay. So who is this mystic? I'm going to say this mystic is a known what? fortune teller in the village and someone who people seek out if they'd like to know more about their fate, their future, when they're going to die, you know, who they're going to marry, all those types of things. What do the runes painted on on your body look like? I'm going to say they are a combination of protection symbols. And in fact, that's the only tattoo I actually, out of game for a second, it's the only tattoo I have on my body is a protection from evil symbol that I got many years ago on my back left shoulder. That is an ancient Sumerian protection symbol. So I'm going to say symbols like those protection symbols, as well as what family symbols to symbolize my family joining me in the future in the afterlife. What do each of these runic symbols mean? Well, I kind of described that a little bit. I'm going to say, you know, one is very much a protection, and the rest are, I think it is, all of these are serving to help me pass the next life, is what I would say. How do others react when they see your skin covered in painted runes? I would say, I'm going to just type a note here, knowing nods. And I think they see them for what they are, protection and family. So I'm going to say they, you know, nobody's afraid of them. They're not like demonic. They're very much intended to ease, I think, my crossing over, if you will. So move one fate token to Moonin or Hugin. So I'm going to, again, I kind of have in my mind where I think this is going to go, but we'll see. I'm going to move one over to Moonin. And if you ever are at the point where you don't have any tokens in one of these, the game ends immediately and your fate's sealed. So, okay. So I think that is day one. I don't know if there's something specific. So let's go back to the day's phases. So after completing the night phase, the current day is over. Discard the rest of that day's deck. You will not use them again. So let's do that first. So I'm going to grab all of these, and actually, I didn't want them there. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh, I know why, because it's still in there. That's okay. I'm going to see if I can drag these over here. And in the future, I'll probably create a discard deck. There we go. Excellent. All right, let's go back to our Tollun. If this completes day 4, it does not. We're not going to be otherwise. Advance the day by 1 and return to the first step morning on the next day. All right, so we're going to move the green token into day 2. I might ask the author if he'll let me release this kind of table, if you will, for free. There's nothing really proprietary in this other than maybe the game overview that I have in case I need this for any reason. So, all right, we're going to start, and we're going to start with day 2 in the morning. 6 of diamonds, a lot of diamonds, and that's interesting. Not that it matters one way or the other, but we're going to go to the 6 of diamonds. So I'll go to my diamonds, go to 6. Message from the dead. Interesting. An elderly member of the village shows you a large flat stone. Examining it, you can see the faint lines of runes. They read the runes to you. A message from a long dead relative speaking from the past. The message is one of hope and encouragement, eerily appropriate for your specific time and place. All right, let's copy that over. We're going to say day 2. We're going to say morning. And then we're going to copy this in and clean it up just a little bit. Interesting. So long dead relative, but the message is one of hope and encouragement. So let's look at each of these questions and see if we can answer them. All right. So who is this person and how did they know your relative? Who's this person? How did they know your relative? Examine, you see the faint lines. It's interesting. So who is this person? That's what's confusing me is I thought they said it's a relative. Well, I'm going to say maybe they're talking about who is this. So the elderly member of the village, I'm going to say is someone close to the family that has known us for many years. And what's the message? So the message is from a long dead relative speaking from the past. So I'm going to say that the message is something along the lines of don't fear. I'm happy, and you will see me soon. And I'm going to say the message is it is prophetic. This is from my my brother, and I'm going to say I don't know how old I am, but we'll say that when my brother was in his 6, 7, 8, 9, say 8, 9 years old, I'm going to say that he passed in an accident and drowned in the local river. And how does it change? Even though I wasn't, my brother was relatively young when he passed. I'm going to say that we were very close, and it makes me feel a little more excited. Is not the right word, but um, happy or resigned, but resigned in a way of that. Hey, this is acceptance. That's probably the best word. Acceptance is the best thing I can say, and yeah, that makes me feel like this might be the right decision for me to accept the will of the council. So I'm going to move 1 token to Moonin. Put that back. Getting a lot over on the Moonin side for the moment, which is acceptance. Still got 2, 4, 5 over here. I think there's a total of 13. So I've got, I think, 8 and 5. I should put a little counter here maybe for the next time I do this. All right. So that was morning, I believe. And now we're back to midday. I won't read. You kind of know the phases now. So we will draw our midday card. Let's move this down. We'll flip it over. And we'll move that to, oh no. King of Hearts. All right. So the way that works is, let's go back to our day phases. And I think, here we go. So you start the phase, you draw a card. And if it is a king, which in this case it is, then you go immediately to an augury event. You still will have to draw another card. So let's go to our augury event table. And it's you roll a 1d6 plus the number of previous augury events. I didn't read anything that said you couldn't have the same augury event twice. But for this case, we're going to roll our d6, roll a 6. I don't know if that's good, bad, or indifferent. So we're going to go to our augury events. And it says the water. The augur throws a single bone far out into the lake. With a splash, it sinks, ripples expanding outward. The water says the sacrifice is approaching, and we must not wait longer. After much argument, however, the council stands by its promise of 4 days of preparation time. I'm going to copy that. And I don't know if I really understand what the augur is. I know it's a special event, an augury event. I might have to read that later. I don't want to take the stream down, but it's obviously some special event. I just don't remember reading specifically what the augur is. I'm going to make that note in my journal just so I know I had an augur event. Augur event. So at least there is more time. I don't know if there's ever a time that you don't get more time. So we're going to put that king down here, flip it over, and we're going to go to our morning, which is an 8 of spades. 8 of spades. All right, we're going to go to our spades. We're going to flip down to a love letter. The message is written on animal hide and consisting of just a few runes. You can't read most of them, but you can understand the message. Your name and the name of someone in the village, along with a symbol of love and connection. This is their last chance to express their feelings for you. All right, so this is the, did I already do the morning? Morning. Yep, I did that. So now we're at midday. So we're going to copy that here. Love letter. You can't read most of them. And connection. Okay, so who sent this simple message? Do you share the feelings? How do you respond? Who sent this simple message? I'm going to say it's someone that I do have feelings for, that we have never acted on. I don't know the reasons. Could be a whole host of reasons as to why, but it's something that I've never acted on. Stand by just one quick second. Okay. So not something that we've ever acted on, but we both have had these mutual feelings. So yes, they share feelings for me, and this is it doesn't really ask me. I guess I would say the message is one of, I'll always love you. And what do you do with the animal hide message? I am going to keep it and like hide it and tuck it under my tunic or whatever it is I'm wearing. I'll keep it close to my chest. All right. And how do you respond? I'm going to have a villager send a message back that all will be as it should. Leave it at that. All right. So that is I believe that's my midday. I think I did morning was the message from the dead. Midday, I had the augur event. Then I just had this entry. So now we will move on to, we're going to move this down here, and we're going to go to, I should be doing this, I guess. Not moving the morning, midday, and then night. So I'm going to be moving into the night phase. And Jack of Clubs. All right, clubs, Jack. Secret resistance. Two villagers visit you. They nervously explain they are organizing a. Oh, sorry. Wait, I already did Jack of Clubs. Did I accidentally? No, this is different than Jack of Spades, wasn't it? I want to make sure I had that right. No, wait, now I'm confused. Active defiance. Prophetic warning. I don't mean to read through this, but yeah, no, that's clubs. Let me read this again. I hope I didn't. I'm going to go back to my deck for a second, and I want to read these. King of Diamonds, Four of Diamonds, Queen of Hearts, Ten of Hearts. Oh no, I haven't. I don't know all these. Never mind. That was dumb. Let's just move these all over. Let me just read this. I just want to make sure I'm not duplicating one. Yeah, I already read. That's really confusing me because I already read Jack of Clubs. And I'm not sure how I messed that up unless I thought it was a club and it was actually a spade. You know what? We're just going to discard that and we're going to take another one. I'm not really sure what I did there, but Not going to break the game. So let's do 7. I'm going to have to look at that later and see what I did there. I bet what I did is took the Jack of Spades. I'm not sure. Bountiful harvest. An older man from the village comes to visit you. You talk about the crop failures, the famine, and the starvation afflicting the village. Together, you reminisce about a bountiful harvest years ago, having a morbid laugh about how there was so much food, some of it spoiled. It reminds you of how happy and successful the community can be with a good harvest. Who is this man? How do you know him? So let's go back to my, and this is now evening. Did the love letter. So I am on night. And what are the memories of the bountiful harvest? Will your death bring another surplus of food? What questions do you ask the man before he leaves? All right. So first of all, who is this man and how do you know them? I'm gonna say it's my grandfather. So it is somebody I know and somebody that I am very close to throughout my life. My memories of the bountiful harvest are that no one was wanting. Everyone had plenty of food and drink and was happy in the village. And will your death bring another surplus of food? I would say yes. I would say that this was after another this was after another sacrifice, and that I think my death would bring another surplus of food. What questions do you ask the man before he leaves and returns to the barren fields? I would say I ask him, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? And um, will it certainly bring about the harvest that we all want? And he looks at me and says, that's your decision and your decision alone, as he walks away after giving me a long hug and deep hug. All right, we're going to go back. So that's the end of the day. So completing the night phase. So we are going to move that on to day 3. We're going to move back to the morning phase. I have done one augur event, so maybe I should move down over to the 2. And we will move these cards down. And let's flip over our first day card, which is a 7 of clubs. 7 of clubs. Unfulfilled ambitions. I'm going to copy and paste that over so I can kind of get right into it. And this is going to be morning. Unfulfilled ambitions. Healer, artisan, warrior, hunter, farmer, everyone in the village is a role. And I believe I'm an artisan. And everyone must perform their duties so the community survives. Today you watch around those around you do their tasks. You had plans for your life, ambitions not yet fulfilled. Now, through no choice of your own, you will never be able to live out those dreams. What role do you have now? And is it what you wanted to be? So I'm just kind of formatting these for a second while I look at the various questions that I'm here to answer. So the questions are, what role do you have now? And is it what you wanted to be? What is your ambition in life? The thing you wanted more than anything. What happens if you don't fulfill your dreams? What do you tell the others when they ask if you are satisfied with the life you have led? So I'm going to look. So if I go back up to the top again, so I'm an artisan and I'm an artisan. Let's look at that one more time. Don't know. Page. See if there's anything else that it said. I could obviously make it up on what it is. Artisan. You're a blend of a carpenter and metal worker, able to both practical tools and intricate works of art. So I'm going to say I'm more of a carpenter. So right now I'm kind of a basic carpenter. I'm good, but I'm not a master carpenter. And carpentry is something that was really what I wanted to be, but my ambition to light in life was to be a master carpenter and be the one the village looked toward for all of the new homes and buildings and hopefully take them into a better golden age. So what happens if I don't fulfill my dreams? I think my feeling is, there's someone else in the village that will step up. Someone else will step up, and it will be a disappointment for me, but not necessarily for the village. So what do you tell the others if you asked if you're satisfied with the life you love? I'd say yes, satisfied, but wish I accomplished more. I led a good life and I did things the right way, but didn't complete everything that I'd like to, is what I would say to people. All right, go to, so we will flip that over and we're going to go to our midday phase. 8 of clubs. Clubs. 8. Questioning the gods. A trusted friend. Oh, shoot. I think I might have forgotten this twice now. Let me go back to the journal. And shoot. Yeah, I feel like I'm going a little bit too quick now. So what I just did was the morning, unfulfilled ambitions. So let's look at that ambition. Unfulfilled ambitions. That's 1 fate token. I know I'm marching toward probably what I'm in my head had predetermined, but I'm definitely going to say that was Moonin. And let's go back to, that was day 3. Let's go back to the night, which is my grandfather. And I'm going to say, what was that? What was it called? Full harvest. Balance at full harvest. So move 1 token. Again, I would move over, and I know I'm only on day 3. And let's finally say, did I do midday? The love letter. Don't think I did that one either. I'm just gonna stop at this one, and even if I missed it before, I should have gotten it. And that's 1 fate token. I'm going to say I'm doing it for them. So I feel like these things are all just supporting what I know in my heart to be true. So we're not there yet, but we're awfully close. So we'll go to the 8 of clubs, midday. All right. Clubs. Hold on, let's go to clubs. Questioning the gods. A trusted friend visits you and questions the council's choice of you as a sacrifice to the gods. They ask what the gods need of a single human life and how they could be connected to crops growing. If the gods can save the crops, that could be connected to crops. Sorry. If the gods can save the crops, they say the gods should do it now and not wait for the sacrifice to happen. By the end of the conversation, they are yelling, and council members escort them out of the house. So I'm actually, I think, going to use this as a stopping point. I've been going about 45 minutes. I don't want to rush this. And I do feel like I want to play more of this. So I think what I'm going to do is gather my thoughts. I think I'm going to stop the game here and probably do 1 more session to finish up the game. But so far I'm enjoying it. It's interesting. It's keeping my attention. I'm not a big journal guy, but I'm enjoying it. So I hope you liked it so far, the playthrough, and I'll definitely do another session to round it out, hopefully in the next week or so. So thanks everyone that watched, and I hope to see you for the conclusion of my journey.